Hey there, dear audience. This is your quick reminder that before we get into the episode, you should like and subscribe. That way, if you don't finish the episode in one viewing, you can easily go back and find us again. That's all. Enjoy the episode, fuckers.
Well said. There were show notes that said what we should do to improve our ratings and views, and it was like, make sure you insult your audience.
You insult the audience right off the top, and all right.
Stupid.
So, welcome to Aaron and Justin Talk Sequels. I'm Justin.
I am Aaron, as always. Here I am.
This is the show where we really dissect and try and figure out exactly who is Kid Cudi and why we care. We're going to talk about kids' mysterious inclusion in the 2020 film Bill and Ted Face the Music.
I think he was somebody in 2020, right? He still remains, and people still know him.
Does he?
But everybody had their year, right? Remember Chance the Rapper? Remember Frank Ocean?
There's a chance that I don't.
These are guys that popped up and had a good year.
All right, well, if we get a weird Kid Cudi bounce.
We got a Kid Cudi bump.
the Kid Cudi bump. Yeah, anyway, is that something they've done before and we didn't realize it because...
No, but it's what you do now.
And that is a great segue, what we're actually talking about, which is the third and final Bill and Ted film.
How do you know it's the final?
It's the final. Let's just be honest with ourselves.
I'm not very good at being honest with myself. That's why I'm still doing this podcast.
I was really hoping that...
Yeah.
No, never mind. The Legacy sequel. We got a Legacy
sequel. Come on.
Here.
You termed that? Did you make that up? The Legacy sequel?
Oh, that's what everybody calls them.
Oh, okay. That's the first time I've heard it.
Sequel.
Never heard you say that before. Yeah.
This movie is probably really accurate. How you kind of get worse with age, how your skills. Did you like this movie?
I liked it. Yeah, but I won't go any further than that.
Yeah. That is all that this movie deserved. Is I liked it.
I still would watch the first and second one if somebody said let's watch a Bill and Ted. I've been thinking, is the second one better than the first, or is it just more fun?
Are we doing our rankings now? Because we might wanna.
Most people say Godfather 2 is the best Godfather film. People that have actually watched the movie are probably more split on it. Yeah,
part one is definitely the better Godfather.
But I think part one is better. It has just a streamlined story, and it's the rise of Mike, and I like that. But this one, people say that Bogus Journey is better because it's wilder, it's more fun. But I kind of like the first one just because it's very streamlined, and it just goes from point A to B, and it's a fun ride with those guys.
I just need to say real quick that I think Empire is the only sequel. I mean, there's other sequels that are better than the originals, but Empire is of the huge hits, the one that actually is better than the original.
Yeah, I mean, I think Star Wars has got some issues here and there, but it's still it's a solid story, though. I mean, it's kind of simple.
There's just a lot of nonsense. If you watched Rise of Skywalker and then went back and watched Star Wars, you would realize that Rise of Skywalker is probably the most Star Wars of any Star Wars movie.
Okay.
In that it's a ride that doesn't make a lot of sense and you're supposed to just go with it.
The original Star Wars makes a lot of sense, though, and they didn't cloud it up with a lot of Empire or Emperor bullshit. The only guy who's bad is Darth.
No, there's just a lot of fun logical leaps. The escape pods are shooting. Blow them all up. Well, not that one. There's no life sides. Don't worry about that.
Those kind of things do drive me crazy.
That's why Rise of Skywalker is bad, is because it's full of that kind of thinking.
Wasn't it famous for having that line with Oscar Isaac that he's like, somehow the Emperor returned? And that's just how they explain it.
And people hate it so much. It's so bad.
I know. Somehow. I don't know how. Don't worry about it. And he was looking at the camera when he was saying it. It was weird.
Fuck J.J. Abrams. He's earned his place in hell. I just need to say it out loud. Yeah.
Well, we watched Beetlejuice last night.
Oh, shit.
Did you watch it?
Yeah. What'd you think?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked it probably more than Bill and Ted Face the Music as far as the Legacy sequel goes.
Oh, fuck yeah. My critique of Beetlejuice is a wild ride that was missing just a little bit of the soul of the original. Everything was out there and it was shiny and fun to watch, but it was missing just a little bit of that
charm.
Yeah, but every part I loved. But proud of myself. The second that she went down that hill and landed at that tree, I knew that they were all dead.
No, I didn't know they were dead until he invited her in the house and was like, "This is my mom." And when he didn't introduce her to the mom, then I was like, "Boom, he's dead."
Yep. Like,
They're all dead.
they're all dead.
And it was very clear at that point. I'm a little slow on the uptake, maybe.
That girl hit her head on the tree and it activated her psychic powers. And
Oh,
then
okay. I didn't
from
put that
then on,
together.
she
Yeah.
saw the dead
That
people.
makes sense. They didn't prolong it too much, which I thought was nice. Like, because I think everybody figured it out, or everybody had that inkling that that's what's going on. So they didn't make that like the big twist in the movie. It was more like, we're heading there. Don't worry. You were talking about leaps in credibility. My term. I can't think of what you said. The only thing that really stuck out to me is if a teenager murdered his parents and then died in a police standoff, everybody in that small town would have heard that story, including Lydia's dad. And Lydia would have heard about it as well, because he definitely would have told her about, like, get this shit that happened down the road from us.
Yeah.
Where I live still, because I own this house. So for her to be all surprised learning from the real estate agent that this happened in that town, I was just like, well, that's a leap.
The only thing they didn't
Are we just going to talk about Beetlejuice?
Yeah, maybe. The only thing they didn't need to do for me was explain to us how Beetlejuice died.
I didn't mind it. I loved that they went to that Italian voiceover.
Those are the things that made the movie great. Yeah.
It totally landed. I loved it. So if it was his origin, I was like, wow, it's his origin, you know? I was like, fine. The way... the creativity in coming up with how to do it, I thought was genius.
There was a lot of that made me think Tim Burton's back, but again, it was just hollow enough to make me think that he's just missing the mark. Somebody needs to withhold sex from him.
I felt like this was most Burton in quite a while, I thought.
Oh yeah.
And I think I've seen every one of his films. I don't know if there's one I haven't seen.
I still have big gaps in the middle.
I'm sure this is a lot of people's favorite. The running gag with Willem Dafoe's assistant handing him the coffee. Do you remember that? Anytime Willem Dafoe was in a scene, at some point, she walked in and he reached over and she handed him a drink. Even at the end of the shootout in the church at the end.
Completely unsaid. It's just a thing that happened.
Yes,
I missed it.
Just always happened. And sometimes she would say something to him, but sometimes she would just walk in and hand him this coffee. But that was my favorite running gag.
And he was so good in there. God, Willem Dafoe.
He was good.
Oh,
you know what?
So
I think he was good, and even Monica Bellucci, being the dead ex-wife, she was good.
Yeah.
But if you took both of those people out of the movie, you probably wouldn't really miss them.
It was almost too plotty.
Yeah, but it wasn't a heavy plot. There was a number of characters that you didn't really need. That's kind of what I thought.
But he would know that was too much. If anybody watched Beetlejuice, you kind of... I know. It's just where we are with overblown storytelling.
But I do think that maybe the ex-wife plot was a bigger part of the movie, and it got
cut down
is my guess.
Which, I mean, it was smart. Yeah, it was good.
And I was a little weirded out because I guess the way they showed Beetlejuice in the first movie, it was a little bit on the dark side, and only every once in a while did you get a really good comedic scene with him, and they kind of held him back. Where this movie, it's like, here he is, no amazing reveal, he's just this worker here. But I was having fun with it after a while, and then it was okay. Because I realized, like, we already know him. We don't have to pretend like he's some secret demon that we have to discover.
Yeah, I thought he was supposed to be a demon, not just a dead Italian guy. But there is one sin that I think that movie committed with the trailer and expectations. No, it was the movie poster. When they had him holding onto his number from the first movie.
Yes, you thought he would still be there to this day.
Which is such a great setup.
But that's what everybody wanted and everybody expected. So how could they do that?
Why would you even set it up if it's not going to happen? That's what makes,
Those are the Easter eggs, I guess, that fans love. It's like going down into Egon's workshop and seeing the toaster and shit. It's just there to be like, oh, there's a toaster for the movie. Remember when it danced? And this is our Beetlejuice episode now.
Oh, that is a freebie. Good call. So the biggest thing that surprised me about Beetlejuice was that Jenna Ortega can act.
Yeah, I mean, I saw her in that X movie, right? She was good in that.
She wasn't an X. She is not that girl.
She was the girlfriend of the sound guy who got convinced to do the porn, and then she got killed.
Jenna Ortega was an X and I didn't realize it.
X is the first one, right?
I think so.
Yeah, X. She was an X.
I'm calling bullshit, right? Yeah, she's an X. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, see, that's fun. Her first movie was Iron Man 3. She was the vice president's daughter.
I don't remember, but sure. She's a good actress, but she has an interesting look.
Yeah.
She's like on a Taylor-Joy, right? Like they just have this unique look and they get pulled out from the ranks. And then
yes, she definitely
little by little they're given harder roles to do. And I think once they start to get good at being an actress and they pull it off, then they become like the it person. And that's kind of what's happened with Jenna Ortega.
Jenny Ortega. That's just cut straight to her 30s. Yeah.
Of the Ortega salsa family.
Is she salsa wealth?
Is she in the salsa wealth? But is it salsa or is it like Chi-Chi's where it was just a whole bunch of things? Like you get salsa, cheese, taco mix.
I need to make sure it's not real. She began her career, blah, blah, blah. Early life, the fourth of 6 siblings, was born in California. Her father, a former sheriff. Her mother, who is of Mexican and Puerto Rican descent, worked as an emergency room nurse. Okay. Coming off of her successful portrayal of Wednesday Addams, you would expect to see a similar role as the daughter in Beetlejuice, and I'm happy to report that very different. She did a great job.
Yeah, I always felt like Christina Ricci's portrayal of Wednesday Addams in Barry Sonnenfeld's Addams Family films was very Lydia Dietz.
Oh, see, that's so funny.
Winona Ryder, young goth girl kind of thing, which also took off in the 90s. Like, I think that's what led to The Craft and a lot of people's enjoyment of being, I'm goth now, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, Tim Burton is responsible for a lot.
Totally.
Worth noting that her performance as Wednesday in those movies is so iconic. The question of who's a better one is pretty earnestly both. They're both equally good.
It's like a Joker portrayal where you can have both Joaquin Phoenix and Heath Ledger and enjoy them both.
Okay, so Bill and Ted Face the Music.
No, we're still talking about Beetlejuice. And you know what we're gonna do now? This is gonna be our very first cross movie podcast where we talk about 2 unrelated films, but they're both sequels. So this will be the Beetlejuice, Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Sequel mashups?
They're both legacy sequels, for God's sakes.
They are both legacy sequels. Well, let's let the flow determine.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, so Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Before we transitioned to Beetlejuice, we were trying to figure out our rankings. You were trying to tell if you thought the first or the second one was better. I actually want to use another sequel to describe the first 2 Bill and Ted's. I feel like they are very much a Raiders and Temple situation, where Raiders came out and it was just universally considered good when they were like, well, what should we make the sequel? More. That was just the general rule, is bigger. And that's kind of what you have with Bogus Journey, is them just trying to amp up all the things that worked in the first one. Or is that not even accurate?
I don't think I agree with you, because I think Raiders is pretty big. And I wouldn't say that Temple is bigger. In fact, it's a little smaller in scale in that it only takes place in one country, whereas Raiders is all over the world.
If you guys want to
You're just confused you're just feeling that opening musical number, I think.
Everybody pause right now, go and listen to our Temple of Doom episode where we talk about this in more depth, and then come back and unpause it.
I was a different person then. I don't even know what I said, and I'm probably going to totally disagree with myself.
The beginning is, yes, we talked more specifically about that beginning.
And also, like, the train car that was supposed to be in the first movie, they just didn't have the budget for it. I think it's more of what you were saying before.
Did you just argue that he couldn't afford to do something big and exciting in the first movie, but he didn't in the second movie?
I don't know if it was an affording thing. I feel like it was maybe a story element, but maybe you're right. No, but I think it's a Star Wars Empire situation where Star Wars, it's kind of a charming lo-fi sci-fi film. And then in the sequel, well, now they're established and we're going to go bigger. They did the smart thing where they said, yes, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is a time travel movie. It doesn't mean we're just time travel dudes, though. It's all about us going on wild adventures. So in the second movie, it's not just time travel. It's about the afterlife.
It's
First
almost
movie's time
no
travel.
time
Second
travel,
movie's
yeah.
the afterlife. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then Bill and Ted Face the Music, I thought they should have still done something different where it wasn't time travel. Maybe it was different dimensions or something like
But they
that.
did time travel and the afterlife.
Exactly. They just combined them. And it didn't bother me that they did. But if you thought they were playing fast and loose with time travel in the first movie, then you ain't seen nothing yet.
It's because they base the premise of this movie on the one element of time travel that we keep talking about, where they can just go and cheat and change things after it's already been done, which is the biggest flaw, I think.
I haven't seen the movie maybe like, a month ago, so I might not recall. But they're still doing the one timeline, right? Isn't that pretty much it? Because they always go ahead and find themselves further and further. And it's only the babes who go to different dimensions, apparently. But their story is pretty limited and almost cut out for the most part.
Oh, yeah, they definitely cut their story.
They want to see if its life with Bill and Ted is the same in everywhere. I don't even know if they say different dimensions, but I think that's what they do. They take the phone booth to different dimensions.
They actually, in this movie, they decided to listen to my episode about Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey and how they treat time travel differently.
Right.
And they actually kind of reaffirmed it in there. They actually said the words, it's both. They used funny words like cylindrical or cylindrical. Or
Are they just talking about how space and time are one and the same, and therefore it can be used in both ways?
And all the multiple dimensions and everything, it's one river. And they can just navigate through it however they want. And that's what all the strings are.
But Bill S. Preston, Esquire, and Theodore Ted Logan, those guys are only going on the same timeline to the future. And also their daughters are going on the same timeline to the past. Correct?
No, because that's not how time works. You're overthinking it. It's just a flow, man.
But in this film, they're going on the same back and forth, like just one timeline. Whereas the babes, as I said, have a side story to go to different dimensions.
You're using the word dimensions as different branches in time.
Multiverses.
Yes.
Is what
Okay.
I mean.
Yep. Yeah. That's absolutely, I think, what's happening. But no, they're also going through the multiverse, and that I think is what's tripping you up.
But then they also get to hell. But the only way to get to hell is if you die, right?
Yeah, they got killed.
Here's my favorite. You want to hear this?
Yeah.
Did you think about this?
Oh, I thought about it.
The daughters get killed
Yeah.
by the robot, right?
Yeah.
And like everybody, Kid Cudi, everybody gets killed by the robot. Bill and Ted get killed. Do they also get killed by the robot?
Yeah.
But they get killed in the future when they find their old selves. And then they end up in hell. And everybody got killed by their robot in the present, and they end up in hell, but they're all in hell together at the same time. So what does that mean?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Because that says that hell, there's one hell for the whole multiverse, and you would have a million different copies of you in hell. Yeah.
But there's always people falling into hell. But that gives the impression that time is moving forward in hell. But if they all died and ended up at the same hell at the same time, that gives the impression that there's no time in hell. It's all just one thing all the time. So everybody who ever died or will die is always already there.
Ooh, I like the thought of there not being any time. All right, let's talk about plots for 1 minute, including with our guest star of the episode, Beetlejuice. The plot of Beetlejuice is we died, new people moved into our house and we don't like it, so we want to scare them away. That's the story. The plot of Bill and Ted is we are going to flunk our history test, and so the future well, okay, that's still complicated, but we have to collect people from time to make a history test, otherwise Ted's going to military school. And so with the plot of Bogus Journey,
there's a future villain who doesn't want to live in this world created by Bill and Ted, so he wants to kill them in the past.
Okay, so these movies always have a B plot. Always. What's the A plot for Bogus? What is their motivation?
Their motivation is they're dead and they want to get alive again to save the babes.
I forgot. Okay, so it is the A plot and the...
Is the B plot that they still need to write the song? Or is that part of the A plot still? I don't know. Because really, they just do become famous in that montage at the end. And they're on their way to becoming the wild stallions that write this song that saves the world. So now we pick up and Face the Music.
This A story is these losers still have not written the song that they were supposed to. And so the world is going to fall apart. and they decide to go to the future to just steal the already written song from their older selves.
But the other thing to me is that I think it's more of an existential crisis, really, for these guys, because maybe they did write the song. Just because it's not recognized in their time, it doesn't mean that that's not the song that might save the world someday. You know what I mean? But the future comes back to tell them they haven't done it yet.
Right.
So
So imagine these guys have had people telling them their whole lives that they're not good enough. Even the future comes and tells them, I know you guys are trying, but are you going to do it soon? Because this sucks.
But don't they already know when it happened? And to them, it did happen. So what's the problem?
They do tell them the time and the place. They just don't say, oh, and here's the song, by the way. Why wouldn't the future just give them that if it's the world's going to be destroyed?
See, I think the writers took that into account. So there's a universe destroying happenstance that's time is folding in on itself, and historical figures from different times are appearing in each other's times, and the world is getting the universe is getting messed up. That's the plot device here.
Let's just say it out loud. This movie changes the meaning of what the song was the entire time.
Yeah.
Because in the first two movies, you just simply think their music unites the world. In this movie, the world is falling apart in the multiversal level, and this song fixes it. So they're being literal, like they literally unite the world from falling to pieces. So like they changed the meaning of the thing, and that's interesting. And so now that we have a lot of this plot here, I'm going to say it, and I hate to say it, but who could you have removed from Beetlejuice?
I mean, everybody was really good in it, but I think you could have removed Willem Dafoe's storyline and Monica Bellucci's storyline and still come up with everything you needed to make a good Beetlejuice sequel.
We did not need these daughters in this movie. Saying it.
What daughters?
Bill and Ted's daughters.
Now you're getting back to Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, so in a similar way, I just feel like it was unnecessary to have the daughters in there.
But they were good. And
they were good.
The best, aside from Alex Winter's performance, that was the best Bill and Ted you could have gotten this movie, because they were like great stand-ins for Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter's characters.
What's her name? Samara Weaving?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like her. And I don't know
her either, but I mean, she did an excellent Ted impression. They were so funny. I liked the two of them.
They were funny.
But I agree with you. They're not needed. You could have them in. I would take them over the babes anytime. The babes were the most pointless part. But they were used to set up this idea that they're still losers, and now they're going to lose their women.
I don't know, man. I have a hard time thinking the babes would ever turn on them.
Yeah, I do too. I just think we're many years beyond being taken from the past and marrying these two guys and living in the future. Now they're like pretty entrenched in the world of the 21st century. So it's almost like a women's lib for them, where they're realizing after 25 years, is this all there is? And I want these guys to be somebody I can be proud of, because now it's getting kind of hard to do that.
When you know for a fact that time travel is real, and you know for a fact that your husband is going to make the world utopia, when those are facts, I don't see you.
Yeah, but it's always in flux, because people from the future keep coming back to tell them that that fact is in trouble and it might not happen. So you got to do this. And I think they also are getting tired of that. They're just like, well, you guys going to do this thing you keep talking about all the time? Because I'm tired of hearing about it.
Before watching this movie, we know how Bogus Journey ends, and we've got the different newspapers talking about their whole future. And I was really curious if this was just going to pick out a moment and tell one of those stories. And it kind of is, because there was a newspaper clip that talked about how the band broke up, and then eventually the band gets back together, and we're right there.
And they got to go get Death, get everybody back together. Yeah.
And that's fun. All right, let's talk about some things that aren't so good with this movie.
I already alluded to what I thought wasn't as good in this movie.
What was that again?
Keanu Reeves. You like him. You don't dislike him in this movie, but you're a little let down that he wasn't able to recapture that Ted magic. That, I gotta say, Alex Winter, who hasn't acted in a long time, he nailed it. I thought he brought his Bill character back exceptionally well.
Yeah, it's like somebody doing a bad French accent, like it was coming in and out.
Yeah, it felt a little belabored. And I think that's because John Wick has exhausted him. And every bone in his body is tired, and he just can't find the enthusiasm to be the Ted he used to be because John Wick has destroyed him physically and mentally.
What I think is he shouldn't be allowed to not have facial hair in anything for the rest of his life.
It was interesting. I didn't care for the pink shirt either. Yeah, I think he could have had the beard. I think that would have been fine. I think he looks too cool with it. And I think that's what he was afraid to give Ted, because they're kind of these middle-aged sad guys. I gotta lose the beard. I don't want to be too cool.
We have to talk about possibly the biggest logic flaw of this movie. They were so famous and popular that they played the Grand Canyon. No band that has ever reached that level of fame has stopped being wealthy. These guys could be touring 365 days a year and pulling in all the bank because they are one of the biggest bands of all time.
I think many bands have reached a peak similar to that, and then had a big drop off, but there's still a fan base.
Yeah.
So they may not be able to tour arenas anymore, but they could still do small clubs, theaters, and stuff like that. Maybe a couple thousand people. But yeah, but they made it sound like they're just a garage band again, which is pretty funny. It's a pretty big drop.
Well, yeah, because they were playing those bowling alley nightclub things in the movie.
VFW halls and shit.
Yeah. And I mean, if Poison could still play an arena, that's the biggest logic flaw for me, is that they treat them like losers when there's no world where they could still be losers. So we get reintroduced to Bill and Ted at the most appropriate of things, which was the wedding of Missy. It's Missy, right?
Yeah. Missy.
Who they bring back. And
so now he marries the brother who was the one that was watching
Ted's
Napoleon in the first movie, right?
Ted's little brother. Yep. It doesn't matter, and it's funny, and I'm good with it. We're reintroduced to the characters. We're reminded that Bill and Ted are not that bright, and they never were.
What did you think about that song at the beginning? I thought it was actually pretty good.
It was interesting. It was definitely a jam kind of track. And the daughters are smart where they recognize the good music.
Like, they believe in their dads, and I think their belief is not misplaced. I think that just from that jam in the wedding, that they showed that, like, no, they could come up with something. It's just not what the future's expecting, I guess.
And they did a good job of basically just showing without saying that they're creatively blocked. Yes. They're throwing everything at the kitchen sink, whatever that phrase is. They're throwing everything
and the
at it
sink
to try and figure out. And it's not working. And they decide after that they're just done. Wild Stallions is done. It's time to just finish it. And that's when the future shows up.
See, in Keanu, when he was kind of talking to Alex Winter in the garage, Bill is like, we got to practice. And Ted's like, I don't know, man. I'm not. I thought that was one of his best scenes because he was just being real. And it was kind of like a nice progression for the Ted character where, like, he's not that old Ted that he used to be. He's a newer Ted. But after that one scene, then he just had to put on the Ted face again. And that's what was hard to watch for me, is because it was a belabored impression of what Ted used to be. But there are moments. So the future comes back. It's Rufus's daughter. Yeah, and just to tell him about how everything's falling apart, right? And in her future timeline, her mom, Rufus's wife, is like the grand leader. And she's tired of Rufus's belief in these two guys, and just thinks like maybe everything will go the way we want it to go if we actually kill Bill and Ted. So I'm going to send a murderous robot back to do that. That's a C story? I don't know.
No, that's a solid main A and then multiple Bs, because the robot is possibly the best part of the movie. But okay, this movie is directed by Dean Parasot. I don't know how to say your name, bro. I'm sorry. And he's only directed a few things, so I'm going to do it really fast. Home Fries, Galaxy Quest.
Oh, yeah, Galaxy.
Fun with Dick and Jane.
Oh, yeah.
Red 2.
The sequel to Red.
Yeah.
Not the sequel to Red 1.
Not the sequel to Red 1.
Well, Galaxy Quest makes a lot of sense because that definitely has that fun that this movie does.
That was 21 years ago, Galaxy Quest. In the meantime, did this guy forget how to shoot green screen?
I think it's just a budget issue, man.
No.
And also maybe...
fuck that.
Well, no.
That was the flattest green screen work I've ever seen in my life.
No, I agree with you. It sucked. I think it was a budget issue because the way they make movies now is you need a lot of fucking money to just do that simple thing. Whereas Tim Burton in Beetlejuice decided to go away from a lot of the green screen. There was definitely a lot more practical in that film than there has been in a Tim Burton movie for years.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it worked. I mean, I'm sure he still had a big budget on it, of course.
Oh, God, I'm sure.
But they were able to do more with practical and make it look good than these guys were able to do with this abundance of CGI that they have. But they just didn't have the time or money to actually make it look any good. Where I think if they put all that money toward more practical sets, especially in the future, like who needs all that shit? You know, all those giant epic bridges and like who needs that? I don't know. It never looks any good to me. It's just a way to show the utopia, but nobody would want to live in that place.
Yes.
It takes like 15 minutes to walk across the bridge to get anywhere.
It did.
Like, why would you do that?
Like, why did they park so far away in the machine
I don't
that
know.
travels through time and space? Ugh.
Makes no sense.
I am mad about that, yeah.
So it looked cheap, and I didn't like that.
One of the things that I gave the first two Bill and Ted's a lot of credit for was they knew how much money they have, and they made it work in an appropriate way. The future never looked that shitty in those first two movies.
They didn't have the abundance of options that we have today, and I think that's what made movies better back then, because you had to be more creative with your limited things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now you can do anything with computers, but it doesn't mean you should.
Hell in Bogus Journey was a great vision of hell.
Although I did like hell in this movie. I thought it still worked out. That was where they put all their money.
I just like that they all had shovels. They had all accepted that they were dead and they were digging holes in hell.
Right. So in hell, they have to find Death, of course, because he can help them get out. But now they have to talk to him about the breakup of the band, and he was their bassist, and it was funny to see William Sadler again portray that role because he just does such a great job at it.
He did such a good job. I was so worried, and he nailed it, and he looked original. They had like his mountainside home in hell.
And all of his solo career shit was so ridiculous. Like, just who would ever listen to a bass album? So that was fun. But also the robot, he was funny.
The robot was amazing.
But he was almost like they couldn't get Death, so they had this new Death, who's the robot, come in. But Death was still in the movie, so now you have two bald white dudes. It was just weird. Like, I didn't really know the purpose. Because he followed the same storyline as Death. Like, he's this guy that's out to take Bill and Ted, but then he ends up becoming a part of the band. So I just didn't really understand the point of the robot. So you could take out the robot and the babes, but I liked the daughters. But yeah, you could lose all of that.
I'm okay with that, yeah. Wait, where is the guy? Who is... Oh, you would recognize him.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, the robot. He was I
thought it was Anthony Carrigan. Isn't that his name or something?
Yeah.
Or Corrigan? And he's on Barry.
Oh, was he? I didn't watch Barry.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was so good. He just kept being sad every time he was a robot that screwed up, and for some reason he's a robot that went to hell.
Yes. Right. Well, that robot had the power, like, he didn't just kill people, but his weapon would send anything he shot at it to hell, because when he accidentally killed Ted's dad, the SWAT truck came with him.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because they all needed to jump in something to get out of there. So that's what they needed. I just thought that was pretty funny.
Once we get through the gripes, yes, there are so many moments in this movie that
so stupid.
were so fun.
So they see themselves as or they go 5 years in the future, and then they're all like these highfalutin English rockers now.
Okay, yes. So Bill and Ted are on a journey to steal. The first time they go to the future, they're not English at that point, are they?
I think so. Isn't that 5 years in the future? Maybe. No, you're right. They go to the future, and it's only been 5 years, and they're still at that VFW hall,
yes.
or
yes.
wherever they are. I don't know. And that's when they find out that the babes are going to leave them. They're still losers, and they're just worse off than they ever were.
Because you sent the babes away. All right, so they tell them that their future selves are going to show up and that they should go with them.
The babes' future self are going to try to show them different multiverses where nothing ever ends up well with Bill and Ted, so they should leave them or something like that. But who cares about any of that?
Yeah,
it's
it really...
just a waste of time.
It was.
It had nothing to do with anything.
And it didn't have anything to do with anything.
All it did was they had that couples therapy scene that lit a fire under Bill and Ted to be like, dude, they're going to leave us. That's all they were there for.
Okay, that couples therapy scene, though, was great.
That was funny.
So yeah, 5 years in the future, they're still just losers. So they go to 10 years in the future.
Right. And that's where they run into their English selves, which I thought was funny for a couple of minutes.
It was a good bit. Yeah. They're in a big mansion. They had the song. They were sitting there waiting for them.
It's all bullshit. It was Dave Grohl's house.
And they stole one of Dave Grohl's songs.
Funny.
Which, Logically, though, they had a really good plan. We're going to steal a song that Dave Grohl writes 10 years in the future. This is actually a pretty good plan. But just the fact that they pretended to be British for no reason.
Yeah, it's just.
But also,
it's ridiculous.
They would have the memories of their younger selves going and doing that. And so they know that it's not going to work, but they do it anyway.
But they even say something to that like, oh, we didn't get out soon enough, or we knew this was going to happen. We hoped they wouldn't remember. They all were saying things like that.
Because they did a thing where they recognized that their older selves would know what they're going to do. So they put the buckets on their head.
And then we'll just walk randomly somewhere so we don't know what we're doing.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And that's
it hurts my head
when the
about.
Dad gets murdered by the robot, I believe. And then they go, how many years in the future?
I don't know, maybe 5 more.
And they're in prison.
Yeah, but they're all buff now.
Those elements, like the different realities, Bill and Ted's, they were funny.
That was funny. And then at the same time, the daughters realize that they need to help their dads. So they're going to go back in time and grab famous musicians that can form the new Wild Stallion bands and help them out. So they go get Jimi Hendrix and Louis Armstrong and Beethoven. And then just to make it gender equivalent or fair, I guess, they go back and grab this flutist from the China that nobody knows.
But at least she was real.
Yeah, but they talk about her like we should respect her and know her the way we know Beethoven. And I'm just like, whatever. Nobody fucking cares. But then everybody kind of hooks up, and Rufus's daughter's there, and the robot, and he kills them all, and that's how they end up in hell.
Listen to this, though. In Chinese mythology, Ling Lun is said to have created bamboo flutes which made the sounds of many birds, including the mythical phoenix. In this way, she invented the 5 notes of the ancient Chinese 5-tone scale, which is equivalent to 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. So in the Western, she invented do, re, mi, so, la.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like, so it's
That's
interesting. Cool. Like, yeah, she
yeah, totally. No, I mean, that is historically interesting, I think.
But there's no Wikipedia entry for Grom.
Who's Grom?
The drummer, prehistoric.
Oh, yeah, it's the prehistoric drummer, right. Well, you gotta have a drummer. Yeah, that was a nice touch. That's the band is too big.
The only thing I wish the movie would have done, the whole point of the time that they're in is that the band is broken up.
Mm-hmm.
And she says it at the beginning that the only way that this song works is if you are all united playing at this moment in this place.
Yes, that's right.
It felt like the daughters should have been trying to reunite their parents in death. Like the girls should have been on a journey to get their moms on board and go to hell and get death on board, while Bill and Ted are trying to figure out what the words to the song are, so that at the end, Wild Stallions reunite. There could have been a different movie there, is all I'm saying.
Right, because the band Wild Stallions is Bill and Ted, the Babes, and Death. Did Station, is he in it as well?
Station, I believe, was in it.
So did Station remain on Earth, reform into one person, and then become Kid Cudi? Because he says Station at the end.
Kid Cudi is just Station, and we just didn't know.
Because he goes, Station, and they all turn and go, Station.
Yeah, he was Station, for sure.
He actually went off and had a successful career without Wild Stallions. So it all, they told him when it was going to happen. Like, you all need to play at this time and that time. And so they get out of hell with Death's help, and they get there, right?
Land on the highway.
Right.
Yeah.
But they realize that, I don't know if they do it anymore, but in the year 2020, in the Me Too era, this is what you do with movies. This is the Sarah Connor, or this is the Terminator Dark Fate. They say, no, your savior is not men, the way we always said it was. It's actually women. So it's not Bill and Ted who save the universe. It's actually their daughters. But you could see how it just messes with people, where they're just like, why did you have to kill John and say that he wasn't the guy that saved? Just because you wanted to make it, I don't know. It just seemed a little weird to me. And this kind of felt the same way, where Bill and Ted were the ones that actually were supposed to save the universe, but they weren't. It was actually Little Bill and Little Ted or something like that. That's how I took the ending.
Yeah, no, that's the correct ending, and I dislike it. And that's part of the reason I didn't like the girls.
Yeah.
We're circling right back to Dark Fate there, bud. And again, this all stays in. This all stays in. Terminator Dark Fate was, they did it. They saved the future. But the idea is that AI and robots are inevitable. yes, you stopped them, Cyberdyne systems or whatever, from ever accidentally destroying the world. But at some point, someone is going to destroy the world. And it was a completely different company. And it was a completely different person that company was trying to kill. Like, yeah, John Connor did his part.
No, he didn't. He died as a child.
Directly after Terminator 2.
All I'm saying is, overall, the mythology that built this whole franchise is not going to happen anymore. It's actually a woman.
It was not actually. It was both. Like, John did his job.
No,
and then
no, you're no, you see it differently. But I'm telling you, there was a certain period between 2010 and 2020 where they made those kind of decisions.
No, that you're not wrong about that.
To appease a small minority of outspoken social media people. We're going to flip the genders.
Matrix Resurrections is a great example. The whole point was that she was an important piece of the puzzle, not just his girl. Together, they were the one.
Right. Now, to make a new Matrix movie, I get it. Like, you want to come up with something new. But isn't the Matrix better that it was the first movie's mythology, that it's Neo that did it? Isn't that a better film? Isn't that a better way to keep a franchise? But I get that you have to change things because you want to make more movies and make more money.
Well, there's a pretty popular argument that the concept of the chosen one, while a fun story trope, leads to a lot of unhealthy thought processes. They're trying to move away from that concept.
I see. But still, I don't think you need to retcon movies we liked by making newer movie sequels and saying they were wrong.
We're kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah, I think we are. I just wanted to really pound it in.
If you think about it, though, all sequels do that. You just dislike this element of what they do.
No. I think a lot of sequels come from people's enjoyment of getting back the gang back together. This is definitely where Keanu and Alex, this is their passion project. But I don't think that's how they wanted to end the movie. I think that's how they felt they had to end the movie. It was a decision for the movie by committee and not because that's the way the story should have went.
I don't know. All I know is that I didn't really care for it. The whole point of our show, we're right there in the weeds of it. What is the point of a sequel? What are they trying to do? What are they trying to say? Is it just two old guys saying, our greatest legacy is our kids, and they're the ones who are going to save the world, not us. It's always building forward and blah, blah, blah. Because a good sequel continues the story, but also rewards you. It is also the same kind of sequel bait that we talk about in other ways. Oh, they just did that because they wanted to cash in and show the... Mm-hmm. It's complicated.
It doesn't feel like a cash in to me because these guys have just wanted to do this. I think they wanted a nice wrap up to those characters, And I think for the most part, they got it.
Yeah, no, I don't see anybody cashing in. This movie made $6 million during the pandemic or whatever.
So here's a side, well,
maybe Alex Winter, but...
In 91, after the success of the first movie, they made a cartoon called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. And it ran for a season at that time with Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter and George Carlin voicing their characters.
Really?
Yeah. And then I think Fox, made the show, a live action show called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, same title as the cartoon, to run concurrently with it, where you had a new Bill and a new Ted. If you've ever seen anything of it, you should check it out. They're pretty good imitations, but they're not Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. It's a little off. But to make the cartoon more aligned with the live action show, they fired Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, and George Carlin from the cartoon after the first season and had the new actors who were in the live action show then voice those characters for another season.
That is so bizarre.
But nobody liked the show. That got canceled, and then that led to the cancellation of the cartoon, or I don't know. But they were trying to make Bill and Ted this huge franchise. But then it just went dormant after Bogus Journey, Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, Keanu popped.
He definitely wanted to get away from the whoa, dude.
Yeah.
And then he did. successfully, but now he's at that age where it doesn't bother him to go back to it. And I think that's why you get legacy sequels now. Same thing with Harrison Ford. For the longest time, he wanted to forget about Indiana Jones, Han Solo, but then you reach that age where you don't mind going back.
Yeah, money.
Everybody does this. Michael Keaton, same thing. He didn't mind going back after all these years, to playing a superhero.
And he was so good. Oh, Michael Keaton's good in everything. I love him.
So he was good in Beetlejuice.
And what's her name in Beetlejuice was good. The mom, she was really on it.
Catherine O'Hara?
Yeah, Catherine O'Hara. Her reuniting with her dead husband at the end when he's just missing his head.
So
like,
weird.
it was so genuine.
Yeah, it was. Because, like, something about the afterlife, it makes you accept things for the way they are. But the funniest thing is, like, that was the weirdest thing, is that they made the father such a big part of the movie when they didn't want to use Jeffrey Jones anymore because of his alleged...
Wasn't expecting it at all.
Was it alleged, or was it he actually convicted? I don't know. I think he was convicted of some sort of pedophilia thing, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was like the dad from Seventh Heaven situation, yeah.
Yes, right. But I'm talking nonsense because I don't really know all the details behind it, but I just know that nobody wants to work with him anymore because of something nefarious.
That's how the casting directors went. What about Jeffrey Jones?
Yeah. He was so good, though, He's such a good actor. It sucks that happened.
The crimes that he committed, yes, it sucks that he committed those crimes.
Sucks for the victims, or the victim, or whoever it was that he...
It sucks for America!
But it sucks for American film. I mean, he's in Ed Wood. He's great in there. And isn't he in...
The young actor that played Ed Woods does not agree. Anyway.
Yeah, I was trying to...
Yeah.
So he was great. And it was weird that, like, they went to claymation to show his plane death. Which
was fun.
I mean, it's fitting to Beetlejuice, but it was just bizarre. But they found interesting ways of having him in it without by keeping Jeffrey Jones out of it.
So what's the A plot, though?
Shark fin tombstone, I thought was pretty harsh.
It was amazing. Yeah. She picked it for him.
Yes,
like his wife
died.
Yeah.
She probably made it.
Oh.
Anyway, what's the A plot?
What's the A plot of Beetlejuice? Because we're done with Bill and Ted. Fuck it. They saved the world. It's over.
But one final thing on Bill and Ted, like, wouldn't it be nice that, like, it just ended? I mean, this is probably the last time we're going to see them. I just felt like there should have been something.
Well, I mean, I didn't watch the post-credit scene.
The post-credit scene was just them jamming as old men.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but...
And it wasn't that good. It was kind of a waste of time.
But no, I like that ending. I give that respect at the very least. Yeah.
All right. So Beetlejuice. Well, the A plot is that the dad dies. So it brings everybody back together, back to that town, back to that house, because he still owned the house.
We know Jenna Ortega's plot. Let's just say it out loud. She meets a ghost boy, falls in love. He tricks her into swapping being alive and being dead, which is just such a fun, believable rule.
Yeah, because the only way he can get back to being alive is if he tricks her.
The important part is these resolve without a lot of work. Doesn't Beetlejuice just stop? How did that kid get stopped?
Yeah, he just opens the trap door and he falls to hell.
It was so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all about getting the right people to know what's going on. Once they were able to tell Beetlejuice that this kid is doing something to Lydia's daughter, Beetlejuice took care of it. But it wasn't until they were able to tell him this is who it is, then he was able to, I don't know. But I did like Astrid was her name. Her character, she was sort of a Lydia, but she didn't buy into any of this bullshit. Like, her mom's famous for being, she actually has she's like Dr. Venkman in Ghostbusters 2, right? She has like this PBS show. But actually her show seems pretty legit, pretty big budget. So maybe it's on like the History Channel or some shit.
And she's going to marry the producer, but he is not the Prime Minister of Canada. I always fuck up this guy the Prime Minister of Canada. Is he Justin Theroux?
Theroux. Justin Trudeau is the Prime Minister of Canada.
Anyway, I always get them mixed up. He's the producer of her show, and the movie goes out of its way to make it like he's using her and doesn't believe any of her bullshit, and he hates her.
The daughter is at school. She doesn't like her mom because she doesn't believe any of that bullshit. She's tired of being known as the weird kid who has the weird mom.
Yeah.
And then Delia, her stepmom, is a famous artist, as you knew she would be.
In New York. Why do they all go back to this house? Does she still live there and commute to New York?
I don't think she lives there. I think she just kept the house because her dad owned it. Or because her husband... Well, he had just died, so he owned the house still.
Okay.
So maybe they would vacation there. Maybe he would just vacation by himself or whatever.
He did buy it on a whim.
Yeah, he was always with her at all of her show openings, so it seems like they still had a really good relationship, which is fun. But they have to put all of his stuff to rest, basically. basically. And he wants to be buried there, so that's why they go back. But Lydia's also seen visions of Beetlejuice, which I don't know if really has anything to do with anything, because he's not trying to do it, right?
He was. It turned out that he was. Like, she thinks it's PTSD from the incident, and it's really him trying to get through to her after all these years, because one time that it happens, it cuts to him.
Okay, I got it. I didn't really put that together, because I just saw him as, like, he just had this job where he was working in the afterlife, and he had all of his shrunken head dudes as assistants, and he would just take calls and do his exorcisms that he was always doing. That's just what it seemed to be.
Why did he want to marry Lydia in the first movie? I feel like it was another loophole. Like, if they got married, he could come back to life or something.
Yeah, but he just said, like, I'll bring the Maitlands. I'll save them if you marry me.
But in reality, by marrying him, something else happened. Like, he was being a trickster. And it's the same way that the boy abuses Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, that's true. That is kind of a callback to that.
The book, the handbook for the recently deceased. I was at the comic book store and I found a journal that was that book.
I liked seeing more of the book.
Yeah.
You know, that was fun.
It was. And if Afterlife has all these rules where you can get back, you feel like there would be a pretty active spiritual life.
Totally. But also just Beetlejuice blowing a hole in the afterlife and then all of his guys just running out. I was like, that's pretty easy. But it seems like if anybody could do that, it would have been him. He didn't need to go through all the rigmarole. He just was like, I'll just blow a hole out. I thought that was funny. Rory wants Lydia for her money and fame. Delia is dealing with
Death of Charles,
her husband's death and all this stuff, and then she ends up accidentally killing herself with all the snakes. So then she gets into the afterlife, and then this boy that Astrid met turns out to be a ghost, killed his family, needs to trick her so he can be alive. So they go to the afterworld. That's why Lydia needs Beetlejuice to help her get her daughter. Beetlejuice says, well, I'll help you if you help me with this thing. There's a ex-wife of mine who wants to suck my soul, I guess, and make me dead, right?
Something.
For revenge, because she tried to kill me when we were alive, and I killed her before I died. And then Willem Dafoe's character is a cop, but he's not really a cop. He's just an actor playing a cop. But he's on the case of this soul sucker. So that's why he needs Beetlejuice. That's how it all comes together. Beetlejuice finally gets to marry Lydia.
Yeah, I want to say, like, I feel like it's important that Lydia is in this place, and it kind of talks about our age.
Yeah.
We have so many ideals when we're young, and we would never marry a demon to do anything when we're a teenager.
Right.
But the second you're in your fucking 40s, I don't know about you, but I might marry a demon if it would fucking save my daughter.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking just because who else am I going to marry? I'm too old. I might as well. I think both of those things. She's like, fine, I don't care anymore. I'll marry anybody. And also, I'll sacrifice, my happiness for my daughter. Yeah, of course. I think that's a total...
And on the audience side...
real thing. She's in a real place.
On the audience side, we're actually going, yeah, she should totally marry Beetlejuice over Justin Theroux, because fuck that guy.
Yes, isn't that funny?
Yes! we are pro Beetlejuice.
We're pro Beetlejuice now. And then they need a big musical number in the style of Deo, made famous by Harry Belafonte. So they do... I'm not too familiar with this, but I know it from a couple jokes, but it's called MacArthur Park.
Yeah, it was a famous song, yeah.
But I know the joke from like The Simpsons a couple times. I would hear about MacArthur Park. And I especially know those lines where it's like the cakes in the rain, because I'll never have that recipe again. It's a very bizarre song. So I really liked the musical interludes in this one. And a lot of times it annoys me. But this time it worked pretty well, I thought. It was just a fun scene. And it was really well done with like Catherine O'Hara and Jenny Ortega and Winona Ryder and their reactions to like, why are we singing this? It just felt very, very comical and very real. Throwback to the first movie when they're all at the dinner table singing Deo.
I, during that scene, was absolutely enthralled because I saw what they were doing and their faces just,
yes.
I appreciated it every second.
And then when it went like 5 minutes, I was like, all right. But then it just kept going. And I was like, oh, now it's funny again to me because it's the old Simpsons trope where Sideshow Bob would step on the rake and it would flip up and hit him in the face, and Kelsey Grammer would go, ugh. And then he'd walk again, and he'd do it again. And they'd do it 5 or 6 times, and you're just like, all right, it's not funny more. But then they would just keep doing it, So comedy is like, if you keep doing it, suddenly it becomes funny again. And it totally does. After like the 12th, 15th time, it was like, oh my God, it's funny again. And then they just end it. And that's how that song felt to me, that it just kept going. And I'm just like, wow, they're going to do the whole song. All right.
By the way, it's an old song that's been redone a bunch of times, most notably by Donna Summer as a disco in the 78.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Somebody calls the sandworm, and the sandworm comes up and takes out both Monica Bellucci and Justin Theroux and eats them and takes them to the floor. That's how those two characters are taken care of.
Yeah.
Because they're standing right by each other.
I remember the sandworm. I don't remember who called it. I think it was one of the girls.
It might have been Delia and Astrid working in conjunction. Then what happens?
Beetlejuice was happy because they were married, and then they quickly annulled the wedding because of a technicality. Beetlejuice...
Because he was already married?
Like, no, you're just not allowed to, like, sign a contract in hell or something like that.
Right, yes.
And
Something
so it
about the
was
contract
never
getting
valid.
burned up. Yeah.
And Beetlejuice is like, oh, fuck.
So what did he do? How did he leave the situation?
Did they just say his name 3 times again?
Yes, they did. There's a little bit of stuff to that I don't quite understand. Because you say his name 3 times in order to make him appear, but he doesn't like to hear his own name. Because if you say it 3 more times, he'll disappear. Where does he go? Because if you want to leave the situation, you just say home, home, home.
Astrid then reveals their marriage contract is void because Beetlejuice illegally brought Lydia into the netherworld, as Lydia then banishes him back there. Now unfrozen, Wolf escorts Delia back to the netherworld after she says farewell to them. Yeah, she ends the movie dead, and I think that's funny. Lydia ends Ghost House to spend more time with Astrid, but remains haunted by Beetlejuice. Okay, can we just talk about the most important thing here? That it's not how you spell Beetlejuice.
You know what? It's always been Beetlejuice.
Yeah, it's so funny.
So then it ends positively where Astrid and Lydia are now happy mother and daughter going on vacations. Astrid gets married.
Astrid got married?
Has a baby.
Oh!
She saw a guy. She got married. She's having a baby. And then the Beetlejuice baby pops out. And it's a nightmare scenario where he kills the doctor. And it's just this crazy thing. And then Lydia wakes up because it was all a bad dream. And then Beetlejuice is in her bed and he's just like, wow, I had the weirdest dream. And then she wakes up again and realizes he's really not there. But, oh, he's still there.
Do you realize who wrote this?
Yeah, it was the Abraham Vampire Killer guy, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, story by, Miles Miller and Alfred Gow, or Gow.
Alfred Gow. Is he related to Michael Gow from Batman?
I don't know, but like,
You know,
they wrote Lethal Weapon 4
Alfred?
together, Shanghai Noon together, or, I don't know if they did it together, but Spider-Man 2, the third Mummy. Okay, that takes him down a notch.
No, have you ever seen The Third Mummy? It's actually really good.
Is it?
Yeah, and it was, they went away from what they did in the first 2 movies, and they tried something new, and it actually worked really well. But nobody went and saw it. They successfully jump-started a new franchise for the Mummy series with the same cast, aside from the wife who didn't return for that one.
I'm a little shocked.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people are. A lot of people just assume the third Curse of the Dragon Empire Mummy movie is not good, but I'm like, oh, it's actually a good film.
Well,
any final thoughts?
Both of these are good, and obviously Beetlejuice was a huge success. $450 million on a budget of like 100.
I feel like he earned this too.
Yeah.
Because like the Alice in Wonderland CGI nightmare shit, you don't earn that. It's just, it made $1 billion, but I just don't feel like it was earned. I just feel like it was just something that nobody'd seen and it had his name on it, but it just wasn't great.
Same with Dumbo.
Yeah.
Did you forget about
Dumbo was awful.
Dumbo? Yeah.
I don't know if it was awful, but it wasn't great. It was forgettable. Let's put it that way.
Who didn't like his performance? I think Michael Keaton said he didn't like his performance in there, like he wasn't trying or something.
Yeah, I mean, he was fine. Nobody really had a great role. But this was earned. I feel like it was really earned. Like, he really put a lot of work into this.
I 100% agree. This was a fun ride that we just took, everyone. Hey, quick question. Did you guys follow us yet? Did you like us yet?
I'm sure they did by the end of this.
They had to have.
Who wouldn't?
I mean, we just gave them such pure pleasure that somebody's going to want another hit of this.
For free.
In their veins. For free. Unless you're listening to this in the future when we've added ads.
Unless you pay for YouTube Premium. Like a weirdo.
Now in the future, they're like, what's a YouTube? These audio recordings we found in the dirt are great. That's it.
Hey,
done.
Thanks for joining us on this journey. Talk to you soon, man.
Bye.